So this is an outline just like yours. Instead of for refugee, this is for the book Hatchet. I wanted to have an example for you that didn't use the same characters and events that you might be talking about, so you could do your own original writing. So we talked about our introduction. So this one's mine. I have identified my author and my book. I have identified my character and given some background information about the book so that my reader will understand the context of what I'm getting ready to talk about. And then I talked about my thesis. So here's my thesis. Through many difficult experiences, including surviving the plane crash and enduring Mother Nature's unpredictability, Brian learned that he was far stronger and more capable than he had ever thought possible. So this right here is basically the framework for my entire essay. I have 2 body paragraphs that are going to each address one of the events in my thesis. My first event was surviving the plane crash. So that will be my body paragraph 1. And my second event is enduring Mother Nature's unpredictability. So that will be my body paragraph 2. So right now, we're just going to focus on the first force of change, which is surviving the plane crash. So in order to write about that, I'm going to scoot down here to this box because I want to put my information in my outline next to body paragraph 1. It says topic sentence, first force of change. So the first thing I'm going to do is identify in a simple sentence the first event that contributed to Brian's overall change, and that was the plane crash. So I'm going to say the first event that began to change Brian was surviving the plane crash. Okay, so we're going to pause the video right here for just a minute so that you can identify your first force of change and type it in there to body paragraph 1. Okay, now we're ready to move on to part A, how this event changed him. In order for my reader to understand how this event changed Brian, I have to give a little context about what's going on. I need to talk about when the plane crash happened and how it happened and give some information so that my evidence and my inference about how Brian changed makes sense so my reader can understand. So I'm just going to put a couple of sentences that sort of explain this event. Okay, I'm going to say when in the book it happened and what was going on at the time. So I'm going to say in the beginning of the book, when the pilot suffered a heart attack and died suddenly, Brian was at first frozen in fear and denial. His attempts at flying the plane and communicating through the radio proved unsuccessful. Eventually, he realized that his best chance of survival was to crash land the plane in the lake. Brian began his ordeal terrified and hysterical, but learned that once he controlled his emotions, he was able to think clearly and make the necessary choices to help himself survive. Okay, so we're going to stop there for just a minute. And I'm going to give you some time to go ahead and add some context to your event. So just a few sentences in order to give your reader some background about this event. You need to say what's going on and how it changed your character.